Hello and welcome back. This is ECPCTV live at the ICCC. We are here with Jim Swearingen. We are going to interview a principal conceptual design artist that started with Kenner and is well known in the line of the Star Wars toys.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks you for joining us. So I wanted to get in and ask you real quick, starting back all the way to the beginning, how did you get on starting with Kenner in the beginning?
Okay. Not too far back from that, I was a co-op student at the University of Cincinnati.
Oh, nice.
At the time, it was a program of quarters where you would go to school for 10 weeks and then go to work for 10 weeks for 4 of the 5 years. And the last 3 of my co-op systems were with a little toy company called Rainbow Crafts.
Nice.
They invented Play-Doh and planes and dip dots, and I worked on toys there during my work periods. And then graduation came along. I was looking for a job. I lined up this dream job with an industrial design company in Ohio, and at the time I was number 61 in the draft.
Oh, whoa.
Which didn't bode well for college, even for college graduates. But they dropped me like a hot potato at that point. And my bosses from Rainbow Crafts was working at Kenner because they'd merged the 2 companies. It was owned by General Mills, and they merged the 2 companies. He said, "I don't care what your number is, come and work for me." And I did. And
that's awesome.
Eventually, I ended up being 4F, and I didn't go into the service, but I continued my toy career at Kenner for next 20 years, off and on.
Do you happen to know the first thing you worked on at Kenner when you first got on?
Not
you
for
probably worked
sure,
on too much.
but probably Spirograph.
Spirograph,
right.
nice.
Yeah, I was in what they called Make and Play, which is Play-Doh and Spirograph, and we did all kinds of experimental stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
But I did a lot of how do we make Spirograph more than just a little.
The little circle thing.
Over and over again. So we're trying to do 3D Spirograph and all kinds of, how do you do a Spirograph in a different way?
Yeah.
And that was 1972. I got hired in 72. And then 2 years later, they organized a group called Preliminary Design.
Nice.
And that's where things got started because it was a conceptual area. They were looking for, they'd picked designers, model makers, engineers, and we had a chemist. We're put together to, one, come up with new ideas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then we looked at new materials. We looked at new processes, inventor ideas that came in from outside, and along with that, we started looking at TV scripts. So that's how we got into the licensing area.
Nice.
We started looking at different girls and boys properties.
Awesome. That's what I want to lead into, because now you said that's basically when you started that group. Now we're talking 1976. You were brought what was to be Star Wars script. When you first sat down and you first read that script, how did, as far as from a toy perspective, what did that feel like? How did that make you feel?
Yeah, I was already primed for it because while I was in college, I saw THX 1138.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
Okay, so
you're already connected with George.
So I saw that first movie. It was his thesis movie coming out of Cal Arts. So I'd seen that 1971. I'm at Hasbro, and then American Graffiti
Oh yes,
came along. That was 1972, I think. Anyway, so I was kind of primed. I remember THX 1138 now. There's American Graffiti, and then in my presentation I mentioned that I was a Star Wars. I was a science fiction fan, not a fanatic, but a fan. My first movie was Forbidden Planet
Oh,
Tell
wow.
people-
Oh my goodness.
That's
Gave me
awesome.
nightmares. Because I was only, I was 58, so I was 9 years old. I saw it in the theater,
Oh my goodness.
but we played Forbidden Planet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because the monster was easy to do. It was your thumb, or the side of your fist and a thumbprint. You could make that footprint. So I was a little bit primed. And then in 1976, I subscribed to Starlog magazine.
Oh, nice.
Started in
Wow.
August
Yes.
of 76, first issue. Second issue was November of 76. And in there is a 4-paragraph article about Star Wars, Lucas, and 20th Century Fox.
Nice.
So I'd read that. It's like, oh, George is doing a new science fiction movie in THR 30. That was pretty cool. So don't know exactly when we started, but the executives in the company were at Toy Fair in February 77.
Yeah.
And they saw some of the live action, a little live action. None of the special effects had been done. And the script came back with Dave Okada, and he said, does anybody want to look at this movie called Star Wars? And I'm like, that is my baby. So I got to take the script home that night. I have a book of black and white photographs from live action, and I've got a snapshot of an X-Wing and a TIE fighter. And I think we had a Millennium Falcon picture.
Oh, nice.
So I'm reading the script and looking at these pictures, and I'm transfixed by this 2 hours of reading, and imagining the TIE fighter and
Yeah.
X-wing,
Yeah.
the dogfights.
Oh, wow.
Did you
yeah.
did you have the picture of what is today the Millennium Falcon, or did you have one of the other ones that they were thinking of using?
This is the one they used.
Okay.
It was a kind of edge-on view of a model on a stand.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So I'm like, this is amazing. I'm already like, if THX was that good, this one has to be greater. So I brought it back, literally gave it to David and said, hey, Dave, go in your office and close the door and read this, because we got to do this.
Yeah,
this is
absolutely.
loaded with toys.
Mm.
And it had already been torn down by all the major toy companies.
That's what I heard.
Mattel,
Yes, I remember hearing
Hasbro,
about that.
Ideal, Mego turned it down, even though they'd done Star Trek, and it had strikes against it.
Mhm.
It was a movie that could be in and out of a theater in a month.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was science fiction, and Star Trek had screwed that.
Yes,
Sorry.
it did.
Oh, don't be sorry.
Don't be sorry at all.
You're in a safe space.
You're in a safe space.
You're in a safe space.
Paramount had been given they'd been given the licensing rights, and they just put a Star Trek thing on anything. My
Yeah.
favorite was the helmet with a red light on top.
Yes. Anything you could find.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just awful. So science fiction, people were going, science fiction, another 10 years we can do that.
Yeah.
And then it was a movie, and it was opening in May. And I'm reading we're thinking February, reading the script, and it's opening a couple months later.
Mm.
In the toy business, at that time at least, it took 52 weeks to get to a toy on the shelf.
Wow.
Mm.
You have tooling and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
even
The
if we
clock.
had started the day I read the script, we wouldn't have product until
Yeah.
the following year. So all the other toy companies said, 1, 2, 3, you're out.
Yeah.
We can't have product in a year from now on a product that we don't have any faith in. So
Yeah.
Dave and our group and it was like, okay, now we have to sell the management on the idea of waiting till next year. And Paramount, or 20th Century Fox and Lucas, that this little Midwestern company that had one licensed product before, $6 Million Man.
Oh,
Good
wow.
pro-
Just
Good
one.
idea. But we'd only done one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they had to be convinced that we had to bring them together.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really our job. And we presented it. We had weekly meetings,
Yeah.
and every week we would present, now here's what we were thinking about for Star Wars.
Yeah.
And here's what we're going to, we're thinking about Star Wars. How about games? And we came up with, just ideas. Like,
yeah.
You can do action figure, and we, so we presented over and over again. And then we hadn't convinced the marketing people yet, but David and I took a whole station wagon full of stuff. We flew out to California with these big packing crates full of the ideas that we'd shown to 20th Century Fox and Lucasfilm. So we pull out all this stuff and we start showing them, we can do figures and we can do spaceships.
That's amazing.
Nice.
So let me ask you before we end it, how do you think Kenner and Hasbro are doing now, carrying on the carded line that then started with you?
That's a terrible question to ask me.
Oh, but that's what I'm here for.
I love it. If we had the same price points that they do, I can't imagine what we could have done. But I think they're doing that. It's just the things are beautiful. Some of them are just incredible. And we were back in the days where you had single plane articulation and at 5 points. Neck, shoulders, hips, and stuff. So what they get to do now is just phenomenal. Although there are some really bad ones. I mean, the bulked up ones are that. I was like, where did that come from?
Yeah, the oversized cards. I can't. I
don't care for those.
It was just weird.
It's just out of curiosity here. Because you've got a whole line under your belt from years of experience and stuff. But do you have, just really quick, if you have any favorite of the Star Wars line that you were a part of?
Well, the first stuff is
just
the best.
The first that started it all.
I have a prejudice. I mean, the X-Wing's my favorite ship.
Okay.
I like the TIE Fighter and and then I worked on the Death Star playset, the one that you can I've actually seen people do.
Absolutely, the ones that fold.
You buy the one that you can. It's a section, and if you get 5 of them, you can.
Yeah.
The one you had to keep buying up to add to. Yeah.
Because
Yes.
Because I did the layout drawings that became the first prototype. So
that is awesome. Well,
so I have a prejudice about the old stuff, but the new stuff, there's some incredible stuff.
I agree.
That is awesome. Yeah, I agree. That's all the first stuff is really cool. Well, I can't thank you enough for joining us today. It was a pleasure to talk to you. If y'all want to come down, ICCC, come see Jim. Come see everybody that's out here. Everybody's having a good time. Booths are all available. Once again, Jim, thank you for being here. Thank you for letting us interview. It was a blast.
I'll be here all weekend.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
All right.